This is the Tom Anderson Show, broadcasting live from the KVNT studios, 7 to 9 a.m., Monday through Friday.
Well, as we see the momentum of the presidential campaign growing and candidates surfacing, of course, the big front runner is Donald Trump, and the biggest challenger is Governor Ron DeSantis. We're seeing some big names, Congressman Good, Lee, Massey, McCormick, across the nation endorsing Governor DeSantis. But one of the biggest, former head honcho at Homeland Security, USCIS, his claim to fame was Attorney General in Virginia, did a great job. Some think he should run for president. Ken Cuccinelli joins us. He jumped ship and actually launched Never Back Down, a PAC. It was actually the fourth political committee created to encourage Governor Ron DeSantis to enter the presidential race, and in fact, DeSantis did. So, Ken, thanks for joining us. I'm so proud of you for jumping ship, like I did and many others have.
Yeah, I would say it more subtly. I get it. I like President Trump. I liked working for him. I thought he did a number of obviously good things. But I also saw what we didn't get done. I saw what a mess it was in terms of personnel being hired, literally hiring people who were against him and the agenda, more importantly, the agenda. And the idea, I hear him say things like, oh, I didn't do that in the first 4 years, but I'm going to do it in 6 months. Really? That's just not realistic. It's hyperbole. And I've been there up close. And I'm not anti-Trump. I just realized that DeSantis, when you look at the third largest state by population in the country, has been the most successful chief executive and a solid conservative that we've ever had in America. He's one of the founders of the Freedom Caucus. He's the only veteran running for president, the only combat veteran who would serve as president for the last 30 years. You have to go back to George Bush Sr. for that. He is the national leader fighting every level of the woke mob, which I believe is also the spiritual battle of our day, whether that's ESG in our economy, whether it's the DIE. I like DIE, not DEI. It's a better acronym, DIE.
Sure.
The diversity crap in higher education. And he proved that higher education, public higher ed, isn't gone. He's getting it back. He's fighting in these institutions to get it back. He's fought Disney. Most of the presidential field, including Trump, is on the other side of the Disney fight. They're on the wrong side. So's Christie, so's Pence, so's Haley, so's Trump, and so on. And so this guy's just been willing to lead, and that's to say nothing of COVID, where he put himself in harm's way in terms of his own political future for the benefit of the people of Florida. And that kind of sacrificial leadership, putting the people first as opposing putting oneself first, is definitely something I want to see.
Well, I'm on the same page, my friend. One damn thing after another. The book by Bill Barr, you mentioned George Bush Sr. Barr was AG under him and, of course, Trump. I really like the book. Have you read it, and what did you think of it, if you did?
I've read parts of it. For example, here's a guy, and this is near and dear to my grassroots heart, who actually talks about how great door knocking is.
Yeah, that's funny.
Well, it's not only funny, it's one-to-one.
It's true.
You want to change hearts and minds, real live people doing it, talking to real live people, not mailers, not Twitter fights. It's why having a conversation like you and I are having is such a good thing, is real people are the ones who do that. And he has real respect for that. And I appreciate that. He also obviously went through some of the challenges he had, and a lot of the people he faced.
Well, I'm so glad that you're not, because some of the folks that worked in the administration bashed Mr. Barr, and I think he's square, solid. I think he did a stellar job. So I'm glad to hear your response. Never back down, this PAC. Boy, do you have star power. You raised a lot of money, and I would assume are continued to do so. As Alaskans and folks in the Pacific Northwest, conservatives, listen to this show, can they still donate? Can they still support that PAC?
Yeah, absolutely. But if they haven't maxed out to the DeSantis campaign itself, we don't want them to donate to the PAC. We want them to donate to Ron DeSantis for president at rondesantis.com. And the super PAC, we don't have monetary limits. The campaign does. So they're much more limited in what they can raise and what they can do. So people should donate there first. And then the PAC is open to them. And we're at neverbackdown.org and happy to have people supporting the governor, whether it's through the super PAC or, more importantly, directly through the campaign. That's really a big part of our reason for existence, is to encourage all that. And as you noted, Tom, I was supporting the idea of the governor running before he ever got in.
Yep.
So we were building and preparing the way, and we've knocked on over 800,000 doors in 6 states on behalf of the governor. And this race is still very early, as you can tell, talking to real live human beings in the early states. Most of them are still undecided, and the governor's got the best track record of anybody and the highest favorability ratings of anybody running for president.
No, he really does. We look forward to getting him on the show. I've got a friend that works with Vivek Ramaswamy. We'll try to get other candidates on the show as well, just for the listeners' knowledge and to understand the difference. I doubt I'll ask Trump, nor would he call in. But in DeSantis's case, you look at Alaska. Our economy is dependent on oil, gas, natural resources, mining. Of course, we have commercial fishing, very robust industry in the mariculture and maritime sectors. We have huge forests, on and on. You get an Arctic policy opening up now. We have an Arctic ambassador now, thanks to our U.S. Senate delegation. I think DeSantis is someone that can connect, come up to Alaska and work with us. Trump stopped through, but he didn't give a damn per se about Alaska. He rarely talked about us. I mean, don't you think we're a treasure trove? And I think DeSantis has referenced Alaska.
Gosh.
Our military positioning, Trump mentioned us in passing, but so rarely engaged.
Yeah, so many different ways. Alaska is a truly one of a kind, and energy, strategic location, military significance. People forget that the globe is a ball, not a flat map, and it's the trips to Asia. Whatever you want to touch in Asia, you're closer in Alaska than virtually anywhere else. So,
bingo. And I think DeSantis gets that, Ken. And I don't think Trump ever got it.
Yeah, he does. He also gets the value of the all of the above energy approach and what that means for Alaska as a state and for the well-being of the people in your state, not just for the United States. He definitely gets the strategic value, what it means to our relationship with Russia. But we're not going to sell to Russia, people say. That's right. That's why it's relevant. Then Europe isn't dependent on Russia if we start being more productive and so forth. So it has all kinds of consequences that are good for the American people, good for the people of Alaska, and good for peace around the world.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Gets that as the only combat veteran running for president.
Well, he's got a measured response with his interview with Tucker Carlson, I noted, of support in Ukraine, aggressive response for illegal immigrants. You mentioned education reform, healthcare. He's practiced what he's preached. Actions speak louder than words with his success in Florida. Last question. As we move forward, do you foresee more big endorsements? I love that Stitt in Oklahoma, the governor, endorsed him. I want to see more. I want to see Dan Sullivan here in Alaska and our governor, Mike Dunleavy, endorse him. I need to, both friends, talk to them to see who they support. Are you working on that as well to get more folks behind him state by state?
Well, we are, and you're zeroing in on some big names, but I would point out that, at the state level, when Ted Cruz won Iowa in 2016, he had 12 state legislators endorsing him. We already have 38 endorsing Governor DeSantis.
Wow.
We have 50 in New Hampshire. I mean, the people at the state level understand that with Donald Trump at the top of the ticket, we lose the House of Representatives and we get wiped out in state houses and governor's races across the country, not just in 24, but in 26 as well. And you get the most tyrannical left-wing president you've ever had in 28.
Exactly. Well, that's why we're behind DeSantis. Ken, at a time, I'd love to get your back as the election and campaign process unfolds. And I appreciate your past service, and I appreciate your advocacy with Never Back Down. Thank you for your time this morning.
My pleasure. Good to be with you.
Ken Cuccinelli, my friends, he would be a good presidential candidate, let me tell you. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Tom Anderson Show.